Välkommen till Tro och under den här kvällen. Ett program som vi sänder från Mediemission International. Vårt missionsarbete växer för varje år och vi är jätteglada att du finns med vid vår sida. Om du är ny tittare och kanske aldrig hört talas om oss så vill jag bara kort berätta att vi har en hemsida som heter mediemission.se. Där finns all information du behöver och vårt arbete har sitt huvudkontor i Finland, i Kerava utanför Helsingfors. Där vi har ett 50-60-tal anställda och där vi har ett helt nytt mediahus med 3 nya studios. Bland annat så producerar vi 1000 nya program till Mellanöstern och vi har ett stort humanitärt arbete och storstadskampanjer som har stuckit ut de sista 12-13 åren. Allt detta kan du läsa om på vår hemsida. Vi är jätteglada över att få ha ett samarbete med kanal 10 och på det sättet kunna nå ut till hela Sverige och även till Norge. Och du som har webb-tv kan ju se det här överallt naturligtvis. Du hittar oss också på sociala medier, på Facebook och på Instagram. Och klicka gärna in på de sidorna och följ vårt arbete så får du uppdaterad information om allt det som vi står i. I våra program så försöker vi fokusera på ett speciellt ämne, en speciell land kanske och så vidare. Och det gör att ikväll så ska vi tala om någonting som är oerhört intressant, någonting som har berört oss alla. Någonting i Sverige som, ja, faktiskt oavsett om man har en kristen tro eller inte så väcker det känslor och det är landet Israel. Israel är ett land som vi i vårt missionsarbete värderar väldigt högt. Vi älskar Israel, vi kanske inte alltid förstår det som händer i Israel, men det är fantastiskt. Men Israel består ju av en mängd olika nationaliteter naturligtvis, men judarna har ju sin givna plats i Israel. Men judar finns alltså inte bara i Israel, judar finns i många andra länder. Och i vårt arbete så har vi fokuserat väldigt mycket på de rysktalande judarna som finns, och även i Ukraina och så vidare. Och ikväll så ska vi fortsätta där vi har gjort många program om Israel och vi ska fortsätta prata om Israel. And tonight it's a great honor to have Pirjo Kartonen with me in the studio from Finland. You're heartily welcome, Pirjo.
Thank you.
We have done quite many programs about Israel now during the years because we know that the Swedish people, the Swedish churches, the believers, they love Israel. We think so, we hope so. And also stand up for Israel and the Jewish people. And you, Pirjo, and your husband Vladimir has been involved in this mission for many, many years. And tonight we will continue to talk about not Israel specific as a country, but also the Jewish-speaking, the Russian-speaking Jewish, I would say, and also maybe some in Ukraine. Because so much is happening right now in your ministry. So first, Pirjo, can you just briefly give us some information, because during these past 2 years, it has been a different years, of course, but your information among the Jewish people in Israel in the pandemic. How is the situation right now in Israel, for example?
Well, in Israel it's getting now easier. Like I hope it's getting all over the world. But just recently, I think yesterday now it's halfway of February. I heard that in Finland, for example, there are already touristic flights 3 times a week to Israel. So and tourists can come there. There are some limits and so, and of course you have to be tested and so, but it's much more easier. I was there personally myself in November, and I think last program we made straight from Israel with you. So it was much more difficult. But today the pandemic is getting less there. All the things, shops and restaurants are getting opened, and tourists are already welcome there. And we hope that it stays like that.
So, Pirjo, in this program, we will talk about several things, but we also have very interesting insert about Russia and Ukraine and the Jewish people. And I think we will take a look at that insert directly here in the beginning. So let's go.
IRR-TV:n Israel-osaston tuottamat ohjelmat ovat näkyneet jo usean vuoden ajan eri venäjänkielisillä kanavilla Venäjällä, Ukrainassa ja Israelissa. Suurin kanava on valtakunnallinen kaupallinen KRIK-TV, jolla ohjelmamme näkyvät nykyisin 7 kertaa viikossa. Olemme kuvanneet kymmeniä Israel-tutuksi ohjelmia paikan päällä ammattioppaiden erityisavustuksella. Sarjassa matkaamme Israelia pitkin ja poikin, vierailemme historiallisilla tai muuten merkityksellisillä paikoilla ja samalla avaamme katselijoille Raamatun ikuista sanomaa. Toinen tuottamamme pääohjelma on Shabbat Shalom. Keskusteluohjelmassa nostetaan esille juutalaista kulttuuria, ilmiöitä, joita peilataan omaan aikaamme. Ohjelman vierailijat jakavat usein myös oman elämänsä tarinan ja kertovat, miten löysivät Messiaan omaan elämäänsä. Kansainvälinen CBN-järjestö tuottaa palkitun kristillispohjaisen uutisohjelman Jerusalem Datelinein. IRR-TV vastaa ohjelman venäjänkielisen version tuottamisesta. Ohjelma saa ajankohtaisuutensa tähden paljon palautetta. Evankeliumi kuuluu myös radioaalloilla. Tuotamme radio-ohjelmia katoliselle Radio Marialle Pietarin alueella sekä Yhdysvalloissa kuuluvalle Slavic Family-kanavalle. Venäjänkielinen kanava kuuluu koko USA:n itä- ja länsirannikolla. Pietarin alueella toimimme läheisessä yhteistyössä paikallisen messiaanisen yhteisön kanssa. IRR-TV järjestää juutalaisten juhlapyhien yhteydessä evankelioivia tapahtumia, joissa leimaa antavana on iloisuus, musiikki ja yhteisöllisyys. Tilaisuudet ovat erinomainen tapa saavuttaa alueen juutalaisia ja välittää heille rakkauden sanomaa Messiaasta. Jaamme niissä myös humanitaarista apua tarvitseville. Tuemme messiaanisia uskovia Venäjällä ja Ukrainassa. IRR-TV on osallistunut Kiovan messiaanisen seurakunnan järjestämiin kansainvälisiin rukouskonferensseihin, joihin monet suomalaisetkin ovat matkustaneet mukaan. Opetamme ja tuemme seurakuntien tekemää mediatyötä ja teemme TV-ohjelmia yhdessä heidän kanssaan. Muista Venäjällä ja Ukrainassa asuvia juutalaisia esirukouksissa. Rukoile myös IRR-TV:n Israel-osastomme puolesta, että sanomamme saisi aina lähteä Jumalan sydämeltä ja tavoittaisi kohderyhmänsä.
Welcome back to the studio. We're talking about the Russian-speaking Jewish people, and Perjo, we saw an insert from Russia and the Ukraine, and we will talk about the TV programs, the radio programs, and also some Jewish holidays you are involved in. But what can you talk about the TV programs you're producing right now?
Yeah, like we saw in this video clip, it started with showing a short clip from our TV programs, and the biggest channel there, what we have it's a commercial channel called KRIK TV, and people can watch it all over the former Soviet Union, and through satellite, through cables, and through local channels in many ways, and also through internet, of course, it's worldwide. And there at the moment we are so happy that we just found out that this year they started to show our programs daily, so 7 days a week. We have two kind of programs. We can say this Israel Guide or Guide to Israel, and discussion program Shabbat Shalom. And this Israel, you can say touristic programs, they come every day on air there. And the other program, Shabbat Shalom, is also 3 times a week. Plus then we have, in addition to this Greek TV, we have several other channels in you can say, Russian-speaking world. In Estonia, there's a live TV that shows weekly our programs. Then we have in southern Russia, Rostov, local TV. And then we have 2 Christian programs, TBN and CBN, where they show also our programs daily. Plus, we have, of course, YouTube channels, 2 YouTube channels, which are the, you can say, most popular when we measure the people who are watching the programs. So we are very happy that in times like this, there are so many programs, you can say, daily basis. And but I want to say that even that we make programs, they talk about Israel and so, but every program has a message about Messiah, about Christ, and so that they are not just promote Israel, but also promote our message, what we want to tell people.
It seems like the TV program has become more and more, and the TV ministry has expanded throughout the years. Yes,
yes, and it is a miracle because we know that how Russian is closing for Christian messages like IRR-TV used to have in past years media campaigns and so on, which are now you cannot do it, and the laws are very strict. You cannot evangelize on streets and so, and state channels. You cannot do any this kind of, only Russian Orthodox Church can show some Christian programs. So that, but this commercial channel, we say that this is very brave that they show our programs. Plus, we have still on weekly basis we make in Russian language CBN's kind of news programs, Jerusalem Dateline. It's very actual, always telling about weekly news, what happens in Israel, in Jewish world, and so on. And that is also very, very popular. People are watching and responding it very much on that programs. So we see it a miracle.
I can understand that because I think it's a new, I mean, social media and TV programs has always been an effective tool to reach, I mean, the whole world, but it seems like nowadays in this special time, it has been so effective to really meet the people's need, I should say, yes. Because they are looking for the extensive issues and so. So it seems like the work that you're doing really are effective and reaching people's heart. And the response, I mean, can you measure it in some way?
Yes, we have, how could I say, on each program, it depends, but each program we get always very many, sometimes less, sometimes it's only 30 or 40 responses, but sometimes we get hundreds, and it depends on program. And especially if I take this Jerusalem Dateline, people start to discuss. They often handle about, like now, this Ukraine crisis. People have opinions, all kind of opinions. But most important, what are as important, are people who are sending. We get a lot of that. Please pray for us. Please pray for my family. Can you help me, please? And I'm seeking purpose of life and that kind of things. And that's why we are making these programs. That's our aim. And then we always, if we cannot answer ourselves, we give to the local congregations that they can continue with those people who are seeking.
So we can say, first of all, that we are so thankful to God that He is opening up new doors and new ways for the ministry. But we also have radio programs, Pierre. We have done that for many years. But what can you say about our radio programs?
Yeah, it is a few years ago. We had one TV channel in Israel that was showing our program, but then they shut down the channel. I think went bankrupt or something like that. And this director of the TV channel moved to America, United States, and he contacted from there now that now he has a TV, radio channel there. It's called Slavic Family, and it is not just a small radio station. It can be heard in East Coast and West Coast all over, where there are millions of Russian-speaking people living in the United States, and I think hundreds of thousands of them are Jewish people. And he asked, could we make our programs radio versions, and that he can broadcast in a radio channel. And of course we started it, and we are making now already a few years, not only our TV programs, we made a radio version, but we have also our own different kind of radio programs. And very interesting, for example, he was not a believer in Jesus, but somehow his son got saved, and he's Jewish, of course, because he came from Israel. His son got saved, and through his son, this director is now believing, you can say, messianic too there, and that's why he's so open that we can show as much we can talk about Christ and so let's go. So that is the biggest radio station, and then we have in St. Petersburg area Catholic radio station, Radio Maria, and this Radio Maria also on weekly basis they broadcast those same programs what we have. So
you might say that the radio program is still effective in reaching people. I mean,
yes,
because
people listen when they are in a car and driving or something. They listen to the radio. Yes,
because sometimes I feel personally that people are more focusing on TV and YouTube, everything you can see with your eyes. But I still believe that radio also is maybe in our time a forgotten tool, because you can hear it everywhere you are when you do other things. So I believe I'm happy that because we know that the Jewish people also has to be saved to realize the Messiah, so the living God that Jesus is real. But I mean, in Russia and in Ukraine, we have several contacts with Christians groups and so, and there is a special time, of course, the conflict, Ukraine, Russia, and I mean, people's attitude, their mood, I mean, there is a special time.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say that everything that we do in a very close connection with local congregations. We have this in Kiev, capital of Ukraine. There's it is said it is the biggest messianic congregation in the world. They have more than 2,000 members and more than 10 daughter congregations, and so we work with them. And also one of the daughter congregations is in St. Petersburg, where we also shoot. They have a media team. We shoot together with them TV programs. So, but now in this last few weeks, we have been really close contacts with this Kiev Messianic congregation and asking about them. What about Jewish people today? How do they react, and how do they? What are their expectancies in this situation? And of course, Kiev situation is different than eastern Ukraine. It's quiet and everything is. it's tensed, but nothing is happening in Kyiv. So, but I know there are still, at least in eastern Ukraine, there are still living 75,000 Jewish people, and totally in Ukraine, I think something 200,000. And now, when the situation is like that and borders are closed, for example, border between Russia and Ukraine is now closed. People cannot travel, even the pastors cannot meet each other. And so Israel is getting ready, is already ready to evacuate at least those 75,000 Jewish people from there. And so that it's tensed, and churches, they are praying there, not only Messianic, all the churches in Ukraine are praying for peace now. And we want to support them. We are participating in all kind of prayer conferences, which we have been doing always, like we saw it in the video clip, that we have taken part and we have supported and helped in the media ministry there. So, but now is a special time to pray for believers and also for non-believers, Jewish people in Ukraine, as in Russia too.
Yeah, of course. This conflict is impacting the whole world right now. But yes, what you mean, Pedro, is that Israel as a nation, they prepare to welcome maybe tens of thousands Jewish people from Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah, first of all, there are around 15,000 people living in Ukraine that have an Israeli passport. I believe that they are people who sometimes years ago made Aliyah, moved to Israel from Ukraine and has returned back. But they have Israeli passport. They are in the first place. Israel now want to take back home. And but they are also...
But I mean, the situation in Ukraine and Russia is quite hard now. So is it possible for the Jewish people to leave the country?
Yes, it is. You have to remember that the president of Ukraine is himself Jewish. So he has a very Jewish mind, and I think that helps, that Israel has now added many flights for people who wants to leave Ukraine, Jewish people who wants to leave Ukraine, to bring them back home to Israel, and they are ready to give them Israeli citizenship, the Israeli passport. So that is possible. It's not possible for tourists and that kind of, but this kind of special flights, they are going on already.
So what to say is the situation is in midst of what's happening right now, we can reach people and via TV and radio, and we see people responding of the gospel.
Yes, people are, especially in this time, people are responsive. People are, they feel they are troubled with this situation. Normal person, it doesn't matter he's a Russian, he's a Ukrainian, or he's from Sweden or from Finland, they want to live in peace. They want to live normally. They want to send their children to school and study and go to work. And so that means that they have an inner troubles, and we have to tell them the message where the real peace can be found. And people are open for that. And that is now really now I see it's our time to tell this message. Reach out people in St. Petersburg with the Jewish holiday events, and in any kind of way, through media, through radio, and just meeting with people. Now it's, if it's ever, now is the time.
I know, and you also know, that the Swedish people, they love Israel and have done it for, I mean, the Christian churches, and Israel has been always in focus in Sweden. I know that. So if you want to encourage the Swedish mission friends we have, and you have, what is the most important thing? What is, I mean, what do you really want to say from your heart right now to your ministry?
Yeah, right now I really want to, like I said already, please pray, pray, and pray. And also that we need your support. Now for example, my husband, who is has a double citizen, he is a Russian citizen and a Finnish passport, so he can go through Russia already. They see it like he's returning home, so that we can go there, we can evangelize, but we need your support, and we need, and those people in Russia, those believers with whom we are working about, they need our support, also financially. We need media, more cameras in St. Petersburg and so, and all kind of things we have needs, and also in Ukraine. But I could say that number one is prayer, that God who is in heaven, he can work when we cannot work.
That's true. Pirjo, the time is flying away always, because it's so much to say, and we could talk, I mean, for hours about Israel and the Jewish people. But as I always promise you, we will come back with new programs about Israel, because I personally think that this part of the global mission work we both are involved in is so important, because there is a biblical quote that says that if we bless Israel, God will bless us, and we will be blessed and be a blessing for other people, of course. So
yes, that's right.
So thank you, Pirjo, for coming to the program and give us this information, and we bless you and your husband Vladimir, and I can say that Sweden loves you, and we will support you with prayer, and also financially. I encourage people in Sweden to give and use our account we have in Sweden. So thank you, Pirjo.
Thank you very much.
Innan vi avslutar programmet så vill jag bara säga till dig då att via den här tidningen Mediemission, som du hittar på mediemission.se, där kan du vara med och läsa om vårt arbete i Israel. Du kan se hur du kan vara med och supporta Pirjo och Vladimir Kartonen och deras team. Allt det vi gör i Mediemission i Israel, bland de ryska judar som finns, rysktalande judar, och även Ukraina som vi hörde. Så be för den här situationen, men det behövs ju också ekonomiska muskler för att kunna göra ännu mer. Så gå in på vår hemsida, följ oss på sociala medier, på Facebook, på Instagram, och så får vi en connection där också. Hoppas du är med oss nästa vecka, och fram till dess så vill vi önska dig det bästa vi kan ge dig, och det är Guds rika välsignelse över dig och ditt liv. Tack!